You ever just step outside and think, what is going on with this weather?
Totally. I mean, just the other day.
It's like Mother Nature is having a moment,
Mhm.
And it seems like everyone's talking about it, especially climate change and all that. So we figured, why not dive into that for today's deep dive?
Sounds good to me.
So we asked you guys what you wanted us to unpack. And wow, did we get a lot of requests to really dig into the whole climate change thing?
It's definitely a hot topic.
Yeah, no kidding. So no more chit-chat. Let's get right to it. I'm joined by, well, you hear him every week, our amazing expert who's going to help us break it all down. So what's the deal with climate change? Is it really as big of a deal as everyone's making it out to be?
Well, the short answer is yes. The science is pretty much settled on this one. The Earth's climate is changing, and it's changing faster than at any point in human history. And the biggest driver, us, human activity.
Okay, so we've heard that before, but what does that actually mean? Like, what are the real-world effects of all this?
Hmm.
And why should we even care?
Right, because it can feel kind of big and scary and abstract, right?
Exactly.
Well, one of the biggest things is that these changes are impacting every corner of the planet. We're seeing more extreme weather events like those crazy heat waves we've had lately,
Ugh, tell me about it.
more intense hurricanes and flooding,
Yeah, those are definitely not fun.
and even things like droughts and wildfires becoming more frequent and
And
severe,
that's happening everywhere.
pretty much. But one of the most alarming findings we've been seeing lately is about rising sea levels.
Yeah, that was definitely something that popped up in a lot of the articles you sent over.
And for good reason. Since the early 1990s, the rate of sea level rise has doubled. And it's only going to get worse as those polar ice caps keep melting.
Speaking of melting ice caps, one of the articles you sent me was about the Maldives.
Oh, right. Yeah, they're basically these beautiful islands in the Indian Ocean.
Gorgeous, like bucket list kind of place.
Exactly. But here's the thing. They're incredibly vulnerable to rising sea levels. Some experts even predict that they could be completely submerged within our lifetime.
Wow, so we're not just talking about the planet getting a little bit warmer here. This is serious stuff. But, okay, so that's the doom and gloom side of things. But amidst all the alarming reports, I did notice a theme in the stuff you sent over, and that was grassroots organizations. What's the deal with that?
Yeah, this is actually one of the things that gives me the most hope. Because all over the world, people are seeing these challenges and they're not just sitting back and waiting for someone else to fix it. They're taking action.
I love that.
You actually sent over this really cool article about a group in Detroit.
Oh, yeah. That was wild.
They're turning these abandoned urban lots into these thriving urban
This
farms.
is amazing, right? Turning blight into bounty.
It's a win-win on so many levels because not only are they providing fresh, healthy food for the community, but they're also helping to create these green spaces that absorb carbon dioxide. So it's like they're tackling multiple problems at once.
See, now those are the kinds of stories we need to hear more of. And it sounds like they're doing it all without some fancy tech or big government funding.
Exactly. It's about people power.
I love it. So that kind of brings me to something else you mentioned, the role of technology. Now, I got to say, this feels like a bit of a double-edged sword, right?
It absolutely is because, let's be real, technology got us into this mess in the first place.
Okay, sure.
Think about all the emissions from industrial processes, all the cars on the road, the energy we use in our homes. A lot of that is powered by fossil fuels, right?
Right, right.
But, and this is a big but, technology also holds the key to getting us out of this mess.
Oh.
How
Yeah.
so? For example, renewable energy. We hear so much about solar and wind power, which are awesome, but they're really just the beginning. Yeah, there's also geothermal energy, tidal power, even things like carbon capture and storage, which basically act like giant vacuums sucking CO2 out of the air.
Wait, hold up. Giant carbon vacuums. Is this a real thing or something out of a sci-fi movie?
I know, it sounds crazy, right? But it's real, and it has huge potential to make a real difference.
Okay, so to sum it all up, we've got melting ice caps, community gardens, carbon-sucking vacuums. My brain is kind of overloaded here. Where does this leave us?
Well, here's the thing. Climate change is complex. It's a global issue that requires action on every level. We need governments to implement policies, industries to transition to cleaner practices, and yes, individuals to make more sustainable choices in their daily lives. And we can't forget about those grassroots movements, the innovators, the ones who are finding creative solutions every day.
So they're not all doom and gloom.
Definitely not. There's a lot of hope out there.
That's such a release to hear. I was starting to think we were all doomed.
Not at all. There's still time to turn things around, but we've got to act fast.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
So what can we leave our listeners to ponder on today? What's one big takeaway from all of this?
We talked about technology being a double-edged sword. It can hurt us and it can help us. So my question is, how can we ensure that these amazing technological solutions being developed are accessible to everyone and not just a select few? Because this isn't just about saving the planet. It's about making sure that everyone has a chance to thrive on a healthy planet. Food for thought.
Absolutely. Well, on that note, a big thank you to you, as always, for lending your expertise and for breaking it all down in a way that even I can understand. And a huge thanks to all of you for joining us for this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.